Hello and welcome back to my predictor series. We are going to have some cracking games coming up this weekend, not least of all, the North London Derby. I'm going to make some of my predictions. Now, last week I managed to get 9 out of 10 correct. Let's see how many we can get this week. But first, before we get to that, my name is Izzy, and if you're new to this channel, you know the drill. Go ahead and hit that like button down there if you enjoy this content. And also, while you're down there, consider subscribing to this channel. We got more content on the way. So we are going to start off with Manchester City hosting Nottingham Forest, a game that I am predicting to go 3-0 to Manchester City. So City have started the season off very well. They have 5 wins out of 5, very much expected from the most dominant team in the league right now. They host a Nottingham Forest side who are going to go there and try to do their normal counter-attacking football game. Now, is that going to work? I have my doubts about it, and that's why I go for a 3-0 victory for Manchester City. I think this is going to be a very comfortable game for them. If anything, the only way that Nottingham Forest are going to stand a chance is kind of the same thing West Ham tried to do last week. They are going to try and score early and try to make sure that they frustrate City all the way through the game. The best chance they have is to make sure that they try and put Awani or Callum Hudson-Odoi in positions to where they can receive the ball and definitely counter-attack any moves that Manchester City make. Now, in this game, I am not going to be surprised if Manchester City get anywhere between 75 to 82 or 83% of ball possession, because Nottingham Forest do not like having the ball too much. And just like they did against Arsenal or Manchester United in previous games, they are going to try and sit deep and have a low block. So Manchester City's only problem is going to be trying to see how they can fit the key into the lock. But this should be a very straightforward game for City if they show up as they normally do at the Etihad. Very intimidating ground to go to. 3-0 for Manchester City. And then we have Fulham visiting Crystal Palace, a game that I'm predicting to go 2-1 to Crystal Palace. Now, both these sides are your very usual mid-table sides. I think that Fulham have started the season very well, considering that they don't have a very prolific goal scorer. A few good results. The Arsenal game where they managed to tie 2-2. They've gotten a few very good victories. And last time out, Carlos Vinicius was able to open his account. And so things are not too bad for Fulham. On the other side, Crystal Palace are a team that it's not a very easy team to predict how they're going to play, other than the fact that you know that they're going to be very good at home. They're going to be very solid. They don't score as many goals, but I think in this game, they might be able to get the better of Fulham. And as such, I have the game going 2-1. And then we have Luton against Wolves, two sides that are struggling heavily. And in this game, I think they will still struggle to score goals. Now, it doesn't mean that when you have two teams that are going to be at the bottom of the table, that is going to be a goal fest because it's going to be a potential 6-pointer. But as far as Luton Town are concerned, this is going to be a very important game for them, because these are one of the few games that you can actually see them being able to compete in and get some points. Wolves, on the other hand, have a very common problem that we have seen all the way through the season. They do not know how to score goals. They have performed very well against the top sides. They did very well against Liverpool in the first half, and they did very well against Manchester United, but they still did not achieve the results simply because they cannot put the ball in the back of the net. So my prediction for this game is 1-1. I was teetering on possibly giving Luton Town the upper hand and having them win this 1-0. I want Luton to do well. I do not want a team in the league that's going to be like your Aston Villa of 2015-16 or your Derby County from 2007-8, where each and every team looks at them as a potential 3 points. And despite them not having the best transfer window, in my opinion, I still hope that they are going to build some kind of resilience and not just be that team that gives away 3 points every single game. I want them to at least make it to the 20-point mark, even if they do have a not so good season. And January is going to be very important for them. So I do have them drawing this game 1-1 with the Wolves. But I won't be surprised if they, being at home, might be able to get a 1-0 victory. But I'm still sticking to 1-1. And then we have Everton visiting Brentford. Now, I have this game going 2-1 to Brentford. However, in last season's fixtures, Everton were able to steal 4 points away from Brentford. I do think that this season, Everton's start has been atrocious, and I would be very surprised if they don't win it. simply because Brentford are a very good side and Everton are not. A lot has been said about Everton. I've gone in depth about how badly I think they've been managed over the last few years, and even more so this season. I will not be surprised if they are going to be one of the first few teams to have a managerial change, because Sean Dyche is just not inspiring the team as well. They are not losing games by big margins, but they are not really in some of these games. They were not competitive against Arsenal, and there are a lot more tough fixtures to come for Everton. And I reckon in and around November or early December, if they are not anywhere near where they want to be, which is somewhere around mid-table, they are going to pull the plug on Sean Dyche's reign in Everton. And then we have Burnley hosting Manchester United in the final game on Saturday. A lot has been said about Manchester United, and we know that they have had a very tough week. Losing to Bayern Munich, although they did manage to play okay in the last 10 minutes and make the scoreline look respectable, for large parts of that game, they were not competitive. They lost to Brighton last week in a game that Brighton showed a huge gulf in both tactics and in man management when it comes to what Manchester United currently are showcasing. Now, in this game, it would be pandemonium if Manchester United do not get anything from this. And what we usually know from these big teams is that whenever they come off of bad weeks against sides that are very tough for them to play against, this might be the game that Manchester United do get back to winning ways. As far as Burnley, I think they are a good team, but they are just not gelling well yet in the league. And I've said before, I don't think that Vincent Kompany has the players that are good enough to play the brand of football that he's trying to play. They will try to play some football against Manchester United, and the only hope that they have is the fact that Manchester United's confidence is down on the floor. It is absolutely rock bottom. So if they want to take advantage of that, what they could do is cause a couple of harrowing moments for Manchester United within the first 30 or 40 minutes and try to hold on to whatever lead they have. But I'm afraid that Burnley are not going to do that. They are going to try and play football. And even if they do go ahead, Manchester United will always have a chance. And this is a game that I do have them winning 2-0, just simply because I can't see Burnley overpowering Manchester United. This is one of those games that you just see your conventional top four side go out and grind a result. And Manchester United are going to need it. So 2-0 away from Manchester United, and maybe some of the pressure eased on Erik ten Hag and the Manchester United fans. And then we have Chelsea hosting Aston Villa. First game on Sunday. I have been trying to give Chelsea credit in the last few games, and last week they were the only game that I didn't predict well. So funny enough, guess what? I might not predict this one as well either, because I just can't put Chelsea in a box right now. But I do have them losing this game 2-1, because I think Aston Villa, having won on this ground last season, with Unai Emery getting his charges, playing very well, I think that they are going to be able to take down Chelsea. Chelsea don't have an identity. They don't have a flow. They have a group of individual players that are playing individually, and they are not performing. So I'm going to have Aston Villa winning this game 2-1. Slight chance of a draw if I was to maybe revert back a little bit, because Chelsea are at home. But as one of the two crisis clubs in the league, I see Aston Villa being able to topple them. I can see them taking this game very easily if they show up and if Unai Emery does show his tactical acumen in this game. And then the big one, Arsenal against Tottenham. North London, two sides that are currently unbeaten. Tottenham in the first few games playing very well. Arsenal not playing as silky well as we saw them last season, but being able to achieve results. And of course, being able to overcome the mental hurdle of winning at Goodison Park for the first time in 6 years. So that's going to give them a lot of confidence. One thing that we do know about North London derbies that are being played at the Emirates Stadium, Arsenal always show up. I have this game going 4-2 in their favor. And the reason being, I think that Arsenal is now starting to click a little bit more, depending on whatever they decide to do in midfield, if they have Havertz or if they decide to push Trossard back down, or maybe trying to bring in Fabio Vieira. I can see this game being very tough for Tottenham. Now, it does seem on the outside as though it should be evenly matched. But on an objective point of view, I think that Arsenal always seem to play very well against Tottenham at the Emirates. And when confidence is high, and if they're able to get a couple of goals very early, I can see Tottenham having a very, very long night. Conversely, I can see Tottenham also being able to cause Arsenal problems. The thing with the Arsenal is that they tend to concede a lot of goals at home. And that's a trend that Mikel Arteta is going to have to try and stamp down on. If they're able to close out Son and negate the wing play from Tottenham, which has been pretty impressive from them so far, and the fact that Ange Postecoglou does not really hold back, I think there's any and every possibility that this could be a high-scoring game. And as such, I have it going 4-2, but I have Arsenal winning 4-2. Unless Tottenham are able to spring a tactical surprise on Arsenal, it's going to be very hard for them. Next up, we have Liverpool against West Ham United. West Ham tend to struggle very much when they play against Liverpool at Anfield. As a matter of fact, I can only recall one victory. I think it was a 3-0 victory about maybe the 2015 or the 2016 season when they actually won at Anfield. And that was during a very low point in Liverpool's Premier League campaign that season. And I believe that was right before Jurgen Klopp came in as manager. Probably was towards the end of Brendan Rodgers' reign. However, West Ham tend to struggle at Anfield, and Liverpool, since Klopp has taken over, have a very, very good record against West Ham. They tend to win most of these games. The last time I can remember them losing was at the Olympic Stadium a couple of seasons ago, maybe 2021. So this game, I have Liverpool winning 2-0. And that is because I think Liverpool are starting to come into their own, and they are becoming a force back into the Premier League, like they did a few seasons back. It's okay for them to have taken a few steps back and rejiggered their midfield, but I do hope that this game they are able to try and play a conventional six. They should now start giving Endo or Gravenbach a chance to show what they can do in that midfield. It's all fine and dandy playing Alexis McAllister over there, but West Ham have a very good midfield, and they are very good on the counterattack. And if you saw anything about Liverpool last week, is that they struggled with some of those counterattacks that Wolves were able to make in the first half. And West Ham are going to be a more formidable team to face than Wolves. And West Ham will have the ability to put the ball in the back of the net. But I am going to give Liverpool this game 2-0. West Ham might be able to score, but I think just the Anfield crowd and the fact that Liverpool are doing well at the moment, I think they'll be able to see out and close out this game, bar any special surprises from West Ham. And then we have Brighton against Bournemouth. Now, Brighton are coming off of a mixed week. They lost their first game in the Europa League to AEK Athens, and they were able to beat Manchester United last week and beat them very comfortably in the end. So a little bit of a mixed bag. I do expect that Brighton are going to play a lot better this weekend, and I think that they're going to have a little bit more of a fire in their belly to try and overcome that disappointment that happened on Thursday. They should be able to overpower Bournemouth. However, Bournemouth are one of those sides that it's not the easiest to call. They are still trying to play somewhat of a direct but free-flowing game. So they have a nice mix of that. And Iraola has been trying to make his charges play slightly differently from what previous Bournemouth managers have been trying to play. So in this game, I think that Brighton are going to overpower them. The only problem that I think they will face is having to recover so fast after a Thursday night game. And you know, Europa League teams tend to suffer a little bit when they face that Thursday, Sunday schedule. And that's the only reason why I think Brighton might struggle at some point this season. Other than that, I think they should be fine. I have them winning this game 2-1. And then the final game of the weekend is going to be Sheffield United against Newcastle, in a game that I have them drawing 2-2. Now, Newcastle are going to be favorites for this game, but I've been impressed by some of the fight that Sheffield United have been able to show. So I'm going to have them drawing this game. I think Sheffield United are going to finally get something on the board that they deserve. They have a nice, impressive crowd down there at Bramall Lane. But that's all I got for right now, guys. What do you think is going to happen this weekend? Do you think Tottenham are going to be able to overcome their Emirates hoodoo? They've only won there, I think, once in the last 20-something years. The last time they won there was probably in the 90s. Are Manchester United going to be able to fight back against Burnley, or are West Ham going to surprise Liverpool? Let me know in the comments down below. It's been your boy Izzy, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace.